I picked up a 1/8 sheet of mild steel. This is going to be used for my cab mounts. It's a little bit thinner than my engine mounts, but the cab mounts are going to be quite a bit bigger. My cab mount's going to extend quite a ways from the frame all the way over to the edge of the cab. That's where all my strength is, and I'm also going to be mounting my roll cage directly to the cab mount as well. As I've shown you in a lot of my previous videos, I just used some simple foam board to make my pattern, and this is what I came up with. It's going to be mounted right on the side of the frame, and then it's going to be bolted right underneath the floor to my roll cage. For the rear mount, it's the same idea, it's just a little bit of a different design. Again, mounted to the frame and right under the floor. So that's what the cab mounts are going to look like on the frame. They're massive. If I wasn't building a roll cage in this truck, they wouldn't have to extend out as far. They could be a lot closer to the frame, like a factory C10. But I definitely want my cab and my roll cage to be super stiff. I'm cutting out all the pieces for the mounts with the plasma cutter. The mounts look pretty wicked. I think they turned out great. So they're just mocked up on the frame. There's going to be a tab on top that's going to be welded, and then it's going to be bolted on the side. That's going to support the cab and the roll cage. Everything's going to be really stiff, and that's exactly what I want with this frame, because the original C10 frames, there's a lot of flex. I just want to mention that all the fabrication I make is just with basic hand tools. There's no high-tech equipment or fancy computer programs or anything of that sort. I've had people reach out to me saying that they want to start a project like this or similar to this, whatever it may be, but they're scared because they think they need all this fancy equipment. But that's not true. You just need some basic hand tools, a lot of determination and patience, and that's going to bring you a long ways. So the next thing up on the list for fabrication is this crossmember. This is going to be the transmission crossmember. It's just going to be bolted on each side of the frame. That's sort of the design I'm going for. It's going to look pretty cool, and then there's going to be the holes for the exhaust if I do decide to route them in the back, but I think the plan for now is actually having the exhaust stick out from either the hood or the front fenders, but that's subject to change. But if I do want to route him in the back, there will be the holes there. The frame's gonna look super cool when I have all my cross members done with the cab mounts, and I will be setting up a 4-link suspension for the rear. That's gonna be really interesting. I have been thinking about what I want to do, and I think I have a pretty good plan in place, but you'll have to stick around to see what I end up doing. This is the metal I have for my transmission crossmember. It's the same thickness steel as my frame. I'm just finishing up my design on the plate. All I have to do now is finish up the ends where it's going to bolt on the frame. There's going to be this little design in the front and back, and then the top won't have a design, but the bottom plate will have one as well. Anything that gets in the cross member, it'll drain out. The bottom section is done. Now I just have to bend this top section so that it lays on those two side pieces. The frame's really shaping up. I have the transmission crossmember pretty much finished. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit off camera, but you get the idea and where I'm going with it. I'm really happy with how everything turned out. It looks good to me, And today I went to the scrapyard and I actually picked up this piece of pipe. That's going to be used for my 4-link, but I don't want to say too much just yet. You're going to have to stick around to see what I end up doing with that. It looks good now, but man, when everything's painted and smooth, it's going to look killer. I can't wait to see how it turns out. I hope you're enjoying this build as much as I am, and if you have any questions, suggestions, or anything, leave a comment down below. I really do enjoy reading the comments, seeing what you guys think. That being said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.